What's up, y'all? It's Carla, aka Seela the Poet. I know it's been a minute. Good evening to everybody. Um, I got a lot on my mind tonight. You ever had a conversation with someone where they kind of expose themselves? You ever spoken to someone and something comes out of their mouth or something comes out of a conversation and you realize the mindset that might be hidden within them? So I had that type of conversation recently, and what I've learned is that sometimes people hide hatred in their hearts. The thing is I'm a proud feminist, a proud Black Latina feminist, and I see the need for feminism in society because we live in a patriarchal and misogynistic society where women have had to fight for their rights, have had to um, fight against racism, especially women of color, have had to fight for their self respect. You know, basically, it's just been a rough road for women. And because of feminism and activism, we finally have gotten to a point where we have achieved certain rights and certain gains. And because of that, there are people that are angry at that. There are people that are angry that the status quo is no longer the status quo and that the balance of power is now swung in another direction. So I'm realizing, I have spoken to men's rights activists. I have debated with people that claim to be MGTOW. And I'm just realizing that sometimes those movements are really, and those lifestyles and those philosophies are really counter movements. They're counter movements or they are counter responses against gains that feminism has made for women. The thing is that at one time women had absolutely no rights. We were property, we were just sex objects, and we were meant to be seen and not heard, barefoot and pregnant, serving men, and that's it. We couldn't even have a name for our own selves. We couldn't even work without it being subservient or subjugated to a man's job. And now we've gotten some gains, and there are men's rights activists and misogynists that are angry and that are mad. But what I'm realizing about me is that I'm at a point in my life where I want to improve as a person. I want to mature, you know, and to mature, that takes growth. The thing is that I don't know if I want to associate myself with someone who's a misogynist. I don't know if I want to associate myself with somebody who has a lot of hatred in their heart and contempt for women. I don't know if I want to, socialize with people of that nature. Um Misogynoir is a contempt and a hatred for Black women. I see this daily online when I go into different singles groups or I go into certain forums and I see Black men and even foreign men bashing Black women, talking trash about them. I hear it when I go into MGTOW forums where men are policing women's sexuality and men are talking about women's choices and partners and relegating them, talking about that they only choose 10% of men and that they choose Pookies, Ray Rays, and Tyrones. Well, what about the men that choose Jezebels, Madonnas, Stacy's, Becky's, and Shaniquas? What about what they choose? You know, what I what pisses me off is that men never look at their dynamic. They don't look at the part that they play in the fucked up dynamic in society when it comes to social relations between men and women. Yeah, there men, y'all are not morally superior to women, okay? And the people that are from the MGTOW group that talk trash about the single mothers and all these women's choices, well, we're all human beings. And anybody can get into a relationship with somebody, and that person can show a representative, and anybody can be bamboozled by somebody. you know the same thing happened to these men, obviously, that have been traumatized by bad relationships, and the same thing can happen to women. But you know certain members would like to just bash and bash and bash and complain and talk trash about women's choices and women's sexuality, but never ever give the same accountability for men, and when they're irresponsible with their sexuality, and when they make the wrong choices in partners. They have their types that they choose too. They sometimes also choose the wrong women to screw, and the wrong women to mess with, and the wrong women to get in relationships with. And then they want to get on their forums and start bashing and complaining. The thing is that suffering is a human trait. Suffering happens to both genders. Suffering happens to both men and women. That is what people need to understand. Okay? Suffering touches us all as human beings. Okay? And the way to deal with suffering is to try to get healing. Go to therapy. Get yourself some help instead of getting on social media and getting on forums and talking trash and spewing hatred towards other people. That's not going to heal your heart. That's not going to improve you as a person. That's going to keep you stunted in your growth. That's going to keep you ignorant. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you, and you just end up being a troublemaker, and it's kind of like a misery loves company thing after a while. Well, nah, man, I don't want to be miserable. I want to move forward with my life. I want to live my best life. I'm not trying to be involved with people that are just filled with hatred and always want to bash other people's choices. Nah, nah. I need to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. I want to surround myself with people that are mature, people that are growing, people that have a desire for knowledge, people that are life-giving. People that are trying to move forward and find solutions, not be on some hatred nonsense. That's not what I'm about. I'm trying to seek after peace. As militant as I am, I still desire peace. Even in my militancy, I desire peace. And I'm going to try to seek out peace in these days. Unfortunately, I found out I lost my godfather to COVID-19. And that has affected me tremendously. He was a man that I could honestly say I have no complaints about him. I have nothing but good memories about him. He was a man that loved, that laughed, and that told me stories. And he was just an all-around good dude. Rest in peace, Godfather Patrick. And, he was a good example of what a man should be. And I think that the men of this society that are in this generation can learn a lot from how my godfather was. But those are just my thoughts tonight. You know, I am really trying to, turn over a new leaf. I'm really trying to just try to, I just want growth. I just want to, you know, I want to gain some peace, and I want to grow, and I want to learn. And you come to a point where it's about growth and maturity, and that's where I'm at, learning. And I'm just beginning to just see the ugliness, and the misogyny and the misogynoir. It's constant on social media, it's constant on YouTube. And I just wish that people could see past it and see what's really behind it, which is traumatized people who have been hurt by the opposite gender. And they really need to just stop spewing hatred, and they really just need to get themselves some therapy. And, they can speak their piece, they can talk about what bothers them, but there comes a time when you have to look at the choices that you made. You have to look at the part in the dynamic that you might have played so that you can move forward and that you can make better choices in the future. It is what it is. So that's all I got to say for now. Those are some thoughts that were on my mind. I hope that everybody continues to stay safe during this pandemic. And I'm glad to have been able to share with y'all tonight. If you can relate to what I'm saying, you can press subscribe. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can give a thumbs down and then explain in the comments why. I'm open. I'm an open, forum. People have the right to share what they want to share. And, all right. So hopefully there'll be new content soon. So good night. Peace.